Good afternoon, everyone. It is January 3rd, 2023, and pretty interesting session we had here. Let's just recap it. Now, the overnight. Let's turn on the external trading hours. The overnight, what we had was this huge ramp into this close, and I think I mentioned in the video that I was looking for some sort of sell, a further move downwards, thinking the distribution is still not done with, and we actually did a better job than I was expecting. Zero trade above the Globex Open, both on the ES as well as the NQ. Sorry. Uh, Similar situation to yesterday, or not this Wednesday overnight, but the day before, where 3:30 hit and we started selling off. It was the same thing. 3:30 hit and we started selling off. So these European fellows, let it diddle around a bit and then just started hammering it all the way down. Same thing on the NQ, wherever I'm looking. Uh, there we go. 3:30 and downwards, right into the open. Um, we had some data come out at 10 o'clock, I think, or 9:45. Yeah, 10 o'clock. What we started with was a very small gap down, both on the ES and the NQ. And what I was actually thinking was that inventory was super short going into the open, and these small gaps, they tend to fill. Very, very small gaps will tend to fill, especially when inventory is just super short like this. And we spent it's a 5 minute chart, and here's the open. We spent 5, 10, 15, 20, about 30 minutes diddling right below the prior day's low at 65 quarter. We were unable to close that gap for the first bit. This was while NQ, on the other hand, was actually doing really well. It caught a bid off the old FOMC lows. Were at 590, the real FOMC lows from December, I think, 13th. It caught the bids off 590 and started moving upwards. I got short 640, just a level of interest in VWAP and all that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, the ES was unable to even reclaim yesterday's low. So while the NQ was able to get well above yesterday's low at 620, 622 right there, it reclaimed it pretty quickly and it was trying to trade above it. ES just repeatedly offered there once, twice, three times, got the data bid and just failed to hold it. I got out of the position. What I was looking for was a hold of that day's low, and I wanted to see us start squeezing up to, 74, maybe 81, 83, and then flip for the short side at 85. But we did not get that. Instead, it sold down. I had the bears target on the day at 46s, hit there, and from there it was just a lot of reversion, which was to be expected. We got the Europeans covering, had the covers, a little bit more selling, unable to maintain this downtrend, a double bottom with a higher low on both tickers here, NASDAQ as well. Uh, and started creeping up. We started getting above that key 57 level on the day and 590 on the NQ. And that's where I got long, somewhere right around here, I think 575-ish. What I was looking for was a squeeze to occur. I knew it was a little bit of a lower probability scenario given that minutes were going to come out at 2 o'clock, and usually you just end up with this sort of reversion action. Uh, we got up to 67, almost broke the high of the day. NQ, whatever relative strength was there, had gone. Couldn't even make it back above the prior day's high at 622. Kind of got stalled out at the open there at 610. Over here. Sold back down. Had the minutes crap. New low on the NQ. ES able to hold a higher low. Kind of rare for ES to not run the stops and NQ to do so. Ramped upwards, and that's when we were just hitting into weekly VWAP. That is the SPY weekly VWAP here. Also, when I was getting along the Nasdaq, what I was looking for was a reclaim of that -1 standard deviation. I thought we'd be able to get up here, but anyway, unable to reclaim weekly VWAP. Instead, a move back down below this key 64, 65 prior day's low, seller, and that's when this thing was just a crap out scenario, unsurprisingly. So, to me, seller is still well in control. No trade above the IB high on the Nasdaq. Attempts to break out two major times today where we tried to break out and just absolutely failed. That was that data around 10:05, and then again towards the end of the day around that power hour sort of thing after the minutes, again failing to break out, just a crap out scenario. A low close, a close below value area low on both the ES and the Nasdaq. Not very good. So here's what I'm thinking for tomorrow after that long ramble. If we're able to get some sort of continuation during Globex, so in other words, if we're able to get a move down below the prior day's lows, so if we can get down to 40 or 520-ish, if we can get a move down there, preferably even lower, something like 47.36 or 500, I want to see us not gap down for once. Instead, I want to see that move down. I want to see an open somewhere below value area low, so somewhere below 16,555 or 47.47. So an open somewhere around here, a low open, a break of value area low, a crappy sort of rally, and then get short either at 57 or 583. 57 a nice level, also where the point of control ended up being 573 is the point of control on the Nasdaq, and and the level at 583. Just trying to see if the RTH weekly point of control did shift down. Yeah, it did to 47.56 on the ES as well. So anywhere around here would be the most aggressive short in my opinion. So I'd like to see continuation below the daily low, an open below value area low, or some sort of break of value area low, and then a retracement up to here. And this becomes kind of the key short. And this should be a fairly aggressive move, right? So if I was to draw it out, it should look something like this. This would be your overnight. It opens somewhere here, move up, and this should be a fairly aggressive sell from there. It shouldn't be, I don't want to see this thing diddling around here for a long time. Above 63 and 610 are kind of the final spots I'd want to be short. That's the open on the NASDAQ, and 63 is kind of value area high, near where settlement lows will be. The open was 64, so anywhere around here. Above, and I think we do start to squeeze. I think we get above weekly VWAP, which is, probably about 40, I don't know, 47.68 roughly. And I think we start to get up towards that first standard deviation, kind of around that 47.80-ish, and maybe that becomes a sell somewhere up here. Similarly, I think NQ gets kind of the 700, 740 area, and that's a sell as well. To the downside, not really interested in taking any of these levels long. These are just the available levels. 47.27 to me is kind of the final spot. Bulls could have a chance at holding this thing. That's where we had this mega bid at 230 that sent us rocketing up into that December 13th move up to 47.63. Below there, and I think you end up getting into 47.08 to that FOMC low at 46.99-ish. That's all I got. That was a lot. Had a ghost energy drink. Overall, I want to see some sort of bearish continuation, an open below value area low, get short either 57 or 63s. If that fails, I'm looking for a move up to around 85-ish. 74 is just going to be a level for me. There we go. Same thing. NASDAQ, short 580, short 610. Other than that, not looking at it. Perhaps if we don't get any sort of continuation overnight, taking 549s long or 47.49 long against the prior day's low at 47.41 and 521 respectively. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. Have a great night. Trade safe.